Elsie, we will start with you then, since you were first. Give us an idea of the setup of the Bookmobile. What did the original Bookmobile look like inside?
It was smaller of course, and mostly just shelves. We always had a back window, which I put displays on for the different holidays, etc. That would usually fall off, but it was nonfiction, fiction, children's, juvenile, same as miniature library, really.
Okay.
And some of the so-called bestsellers were up in a special place. You know.
How many people did it take to staff the Bookmobile then at that
We
time?
too. Mary Sealing, who I took her place, but just the two, really. We had to go into the main library and get what we needed, if they were less,
That sounds like one of the doors.
and put it on the Bookmobile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was your schedule like? Were you out every day?
We didn't start out every day,
Okay.
but it gradually came to the point where we were at least 5 days, or at least 4 or 5 days a week. But not every stop. It got to the point where it was every 2 weeks, and then I'm not sure about 3 weeks.
Mine was 3.
Okay. And tell me about some of those early days at the Bookmobiles. What were your different stops?
In the early days, probably the main stops were the schools. New York, Bishopville, Wheelerville. That was sort of before the Head Start came in. We would take projectors, the huge big projectors, and the reel film, and sometimes show a movie to the kids, lugging all that paraphernalia around. Then the Head Start came along, and we stopped there, but I don't think we showed the movies there because those stops were short because the teachers more or less took the books out for the kids, if I remember correctly. I'm not positive on that. By working at the Bookmobile, later on, I figured that was the best way to get the children to have the opportunity to read, because at that time the parents didn't have the time to take their children to the libraries.
Okay.
And especially in some of the places that we went.
Yeah, now tell me about that, because, you mean, given the very rural nature of this area, you were doing a huge service.
We were in Campbelltown, which is just a little spot in the road, but we had quite a bit of circulation there. We were down close to the Virginia line, and we had a lot of children there along the way. In Bishopville, other than the school, we stopped in the town. One man had a vision problem, and we got him 33 1/3 records so he could hear the stories, and he was very grateful for that. And a lot of the so-called rural areas, we were called the ice cream truck, we were called the fish truck, and a lot of people wanted to know if we took the TB x-rays.
Really?
Yes.
And you didn't?
No.
No.
No, we didn't. What else were we called? I think that eventually with the big Bookmobile we got the Ooga horn.
Yeah.
And so.
No, at some point we decided to get a new Bookmobile, right? Were you
Yeah,
part of
when it
that?
kept-
Were you part
kept
of that process?
falling apart.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get to decide? Did you get to help pick it out?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I went to Ohio with a few of the commissioners. We went to the Gerstenschlager place, which ended up being the Bookmobile. And I didn't design it, but I told them what I wanted. And there was a little closet for us to hang our jackets or coats, whatever we might have. I always have to have a back window. And that's probably not a sign of a good driver, but nevertheless, I like to have a back window. It was just larger and accommodated certainly a lot more books.
And it cost $13,000, which I suspect was a chunk of money.
It was at that time, and still is,
Right.
but not compared to what
Yeah.
things cost today.
Now I have this picture from 1968 of all of these very proper young women lined up in front of the book. And you drove this thing. Did you drive it back
Yes.
from Ohio?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
it was delivered.
Okay.
Because it had to be painted for Worcester County seal and the Bookmobile, we had to figure out what we were going to put on the side.
Okay. Okay.
So, no, I drove it to Salisbury so the ladies in Salisbury could see the Bookmobile. That was more or less the reason for that picture.
And
Yeah.
and what was that experience like? I mean, obviously you were one of the biggest vehicles on the road.
No, not quite. It felt like it, I can tell you that, right at the, like Norma said.
Yeah.
But other than that, it wasn't really any different. Just have to remember how much length you've
I
got.
was going to say,
there.
it wasn't daunting at all
No.
to drive that thing
No.
around.
No.
Really? Really? Okay.
But I drove tractors on the farm, so,
Right.
you know.
Right. So you had some experience. All right, so Norma, you came in the early 70s.
73.
73.
Yes, I took Bee's place. She'd
Okay.
been inside the library as a branch head.
Okay.
And Elsie, I'm going to tell this story.
Good.
On
We
the
like-
first day
Mhm.
of May 21st, 1973, I'll never forget it.
Really set in, didn't it?
Yes, it did. We were at the stoplight at Berlin. She calmly puts the bookmobile in neutral, gets up out of the seat, and tells me to get in the driver's seat. And I looked at her and I said, "You got to be kidding. You know, I can't drive this." She said, "Well, you have to learn." So I got, and I looked back, and all I could see was longness. That was the longest 14 miles I ever seen in my life to get back. But the trouble was, when you got back to Snow Hill, you had to back the bookmobile in because we were at the old library.
Okay.
You couldn't drive it in because you had to back it in. So you had to stop traffic at the only stoplight. And she's out there directing traffic, and I'm trying to get it back in, and I said, "Please, Lord, don't let me hit the building." And I didn't. I finally got it in.
You did fine.
But,
You
that
did
was...
fine.
And so now how often were you doing that? I mean, would you do that once a day because was the bookmobile out all day long?
Every day.
Every
Yeah.
day.
Every
Okay.
day.
All right. And then after that, did you take turns driving?
We did a week at a time.
You did. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So tell me about some of the people that you met along the way, because they must have been very appreciative when they saw the bookmobile pull up.
I think everybody was because all of our stops they felt very comfortable coming on, and we took requests, and we had one lady that just loved to read bestsellers, you know. And as soon as they come out, she put a request on, you know. We had no budget on the bookmobile.
What do you mean?
No, we had to get things from Snow Hill or Ocean City.
Okay.
We finally got a budget of $2,000 only for easy books, you know, for the children, for the schools. And, but sometimes we had a hard time getting these requests because we were, you know,
We were just the Bookmobile.
right.
Aw.
Yeah.
So you were the stepchild of the
Yes.
Worcester County Library system
Yeah.
then.
That's right.
No, because that has always been one of my questions, seriously, about bookmobiles. How do you decide, because you have a limited space, what goes into the bookmobile?
The authors, for one.
Yes.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a lot of people that liked to read cookbooks. They'd read them like fiction, you know, so we were sure to have a good selection of cookbooks. We did have a magazine budget, and we did have, there was a company that made Crime Club books and Love Sweat books and Westerns. And we were a part of the subscription. So we were number 5, copy 5.
Copy 5.
Yeah, we were copy 5. But that we did get on a monthly basis.